Is painting the mountains far away and also doing the silhouette of the tree and the sand up close. So we're going to learn a little bit about atmospheric perspective. As things get closer to you, they will appear darker, and as objects go into the distance, they appear lighter, and as if there's a haze between the objects. So for your farthest away mountain, you want to mix up, I mixed up some of the crimson and some of my blue, and I made a purple, a violet that I want to also mix with a little bit of white. So I'm going to get a little bit of white, okay, put it in here, and I'm going to paint my farthest away mountain range first. Next one I want to paint is up close, so I'm going to get some more blue, I'm going to get some more crimson, which is that dark red, and I want to make this darker. I can also add a teeny bit of black into it. Okay, this is the last step. So one thing to remember is never paint just pure color out of the jar, so, or out of the tube, whatever you're using. This is not pure black. I've mixed in a little blue. I've also mixed up some black with red in it, because if you just have the pure color without mixing other colors into it, the colors look really artificial and fake. Okay, so the last thing to do is to put in your palm tree. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it on this side. So I have paint on a flat brush, and I want to use this skinny part of the flat brush. So the flat brush is squashed at the ferrule, right? So it's wide one way and thin the other way. Okay, so I want to use the thin part of the flat brush, and I'm just going to make an arc. Okay, remember, don't press down too hard with the flat brush, and don't have too much paint on it, because then you'll get this really wide palm tree that won't look natural. So you want it wider at the base, thinner at the top. Then I'm going to get some more paint, keeping my flat brush really thin, okay? And I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to make a few more arcs. I don't need to have a lot. I'm probably going to do about 4. Okay, so these are the start of the fronds of the palm tree. And I had to make sure that my palm tree is going to be darker than the background so that you can see it. If it's not, just go ahead and lighten up your background. Okay, once I have the fronds, I'm going to still keep my flat brush, okay, in that thin line, and I'm going to just make little fronds that hang down for the leaves. Okay, so how that works is you're going to put your flat brush down, I'm going to drag it and then lift up, okay? Just like this. Now, if you want them blowing in the wind, you can make them all going one direction. Mine are kind of blowing a little bit, I suppose, because they're all kind of tilting off. Okay. I want to fill in some spots, making it more solidly silhouette. Now, if you're having a little bit of trouble right here, just like I am, you know, where it's really picking up a lot of that purple because the purple of my mountain is still wet, you can just wait, let it dry, and then go on top of it. Okay. All right. You could put another palm tree in. You could put more rocks or less rocks, whatever you want your picture to look like. Just like in the sunset painting, we have to think about atmospheric perspective, that parts far away are going to be lighter, they're going to be bluer, and they are going to be duller in color. Objects that are closer are going to be brighter, and have less white mixed into them. So I'm going to start with green right in the front, just to kind of get a color down. It's really thin. Getting paint off there. Okay, now green. I'm going to mix it with some blue. I think I want it darker. I'm going to take this same color that I just painted with, and I'm going to add white to dull it out so that back here I can paint it in a lighter color. I'm going to add a little blue, I'm going to add more white. More green to that. There we go. There's my mountain. So I want to make this mountain darker and richer in color, so less white. So I'm just going to go back, get some green, add some yellow, lemon yellow. I can add some of my yellow ochre, also add some blue. And because remember, you don't just use straight green, okay? I'm going to go back, and this is the second coat that I'm doing, so they get a nice thick coat of green. Because this is the afternoon and it's daylight, you can see a lot more detail than the silhouette. So in order to put detail in here, what I'm going to do is mix up a darker green by adding blue. And I'm going to go back and put shades of darker blue in here. These are going to be the shadows and the ridges of the mountains. And then wipe off my brush. I need more yellow. I'm going to take my green, I'm going to add that lemon yellow in there so I get a brighter green. And I'm going to go between those dark ridges that I painted. And then I'm going to take my brush really lightly. I'm just sort of blending in everything, just so you get a variety of green. So these ridges, how they look is the top of the mountain is going to be light, okay, because that's where light's going to hit that ridge, and then it's going to go down, okay, along the top of these ridges, just like that. And I just sort of blend it in so it looks a little bit more natural. If you want to add a beach far away, like just a little sliver, you can, or not, up to you. But the beach, the sand, is made by mixing this yellow ochre color. Some people call it a tan, but it's really like yellow. I'm going to mix it with white, okay, and I'm going to paint it right here. There's all different colors of sand, so if you want to make yours a little more pink, that's fine. A little more light, that's fine. So there's no real special trick to painting the sand except just getting the color in there and having it meet the water's edge. You just don't want it super solid and super smooth, kind of add a little variation. If you want to paint shells on the sand, that's fine. You want to paint footprints, you want to put people on your beach, that's fine. You want to put a little umbrella and a beach towel, all of that, whatever you want to add is okay. The last part is to add in the palm tree. I mixed up a brown, which you know how to do because if you mix an orange and add a little black, you will get brown. I also have brown if you feel like you are unable to do this, but I know you can mix lots of colors. So I'm going to paint the trunk of the palm tree first. Okay. I'm using the flat of the brush so I don't make it too thick, and I'm going to paint a little arc. Just like that. And then I want to fix up this base a little bit. Make sure the base is going to be thicker than the top. Okay. If you want to paint 2 palm trees, that's fine. Okay. Or more. Okay, then doing the fronds. I'm going to take this same brown that I mixed. I took off a little bit of the paint, but I'm going to go back and get some green, mix it in, because I want a dark kind of green brown color. With the flat brush, okay, still on its thin side, I'm going to paint the arcs of the fronds. Because the fronds have these kind of stiff parts, and then all the little leaves hang off of them. Okay, so there you go. It kind of looks like a spider. I'm going to get more green because I definitely want these fronds to look green. So I'm going to put the brush down at the top and then lift up. Okay, have some fronds in. This is going to be my shadow. Okay, and then I'm going to get some more green, but this time I want my green to be a lot lighter, so I'm not going to mix it into that brown. Okay, and I'm going to go on top of it and add fronds on top so that it looks like I've shaded some back fronds, and then these are the highlight fronds on the top. Remember, it's going to be really important not to add white to make your green lighter. It's okay to add yellow, but don't add the white. It's also better to be a little more careful when painting the fronds because you don't want to kind of go too crazy making a bunch of fronds or make them too thick and heavy, because you would have to repaint that whole ocean all over again to paint this again.